Hello and welcome everyone to October's Get Seated program. We are so excited to have you here and we are so excited for our teams to pitch their ideas tonight. These entrepreneurs have been working hard on their milestones and we are so excited to be one of the campus programs that still gets to continue to run. So before we get into our presentations by our entrepreneurs, we just want to say thank you to our very generous donors, Chad and Kristen Anselmo and DoxyMe. Get Seated would not be possible without the generous support of these donors, without the Anselmos, DoxyMe, and all the teams who submit applications. We are so excited every month. Our team, our student-run team, is so excited every month when we get these applications in and we get to read the ideas that are coming out of Utah State schools. So what is Get Seated? Get Seated is a grant program that entrepreneurs can apply to. What we do is we grant up to $1,500 for a milestone that these entrepreneurs have for their business. So whatever the next step for their business is, we want to give them a grant to help them make it to that next step. So what do we ask them to do? We ask our entrepreneurs to find customer validation. Who wants their products and how do they know that they want the products? Have they done Facebook ads? Have they interviewed? Have they done polls? We ask them to gather that information and present it to us, and you will see that tonight in our presentations. What is a business milestone? You heard me mention that we are a grant program that funds milestones. So a milestone is an action or event marking a significant change or stage in development. So what they do is they're taking their businesses to the next step. We're not funding a complete company to make it from A to Z. We're going from maybe C to D, and making sure that they're able to take that next step in the staircase. So just before we get into the event, we have a few rules. Remember to ask questions for our question and answer session at the end of the presentations. So at the end of every presentation, I will give you the text line that you can text in and ask questions for our entrepreneurs. And at the end, each entrepreneurial team will have 2 questions and they will answer that for us. Presentations are over when the alarm goes off. So what will happen is an alarm will go off and the team will be muted. So we will cut them off at the designated time allotted. So teams must be present to win. So make sure you stay on this call so we can get you your grants when you win. And of course, we always want you to have fun. That is one of our biggest rules here at Get Seated. So with that, we are going to start with Vitapool. They are going to I'm going to give them access to the screen, and then they are going to start their presentation.
A remote test here. What you got there?
We'll just fly. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Good evening, I'm Taryn Holman.
I'm Alex Hume.
And I'm Brian Parker, and we are the UAir Mini presented by Vitapool. In order to understand the scope of our problem, our slides are currently frozen. In order to understand the scope of our problem, we need to understand the audience that it helps.
Yeah.
Chronic disease. Asthma and COPD are currently the 3rd leading medical cause of death in this country, with 40 million people that got it. And then COVID-19 turned the country on its head. You got 8.2 million cases and climbing. Now, anytime you have a respiratory illness, first line medication a doctor is going to prescribe is the albuterol rescue inhaler. Put simply, when things start to close up, albuterol opens it back up. It's so important, in fact, that the FDA, in an unprecedented move in April of 2020 in response to COVID-19, they overturned the patent on albuterol and demanded a generic be made available. Only problem is the FDA has now announced that there's a shortage of albuterol out there. And why is that? Well, the current inhaler currently comes with 200 puffs. And much like the pill bottle sitting in your medicine cabinet that you've had for 5 years because it has too many pills, the same thing happens with albuterol. Enter the UAir Mini, the first inhaler of its kind with 10 to 20 puffs that will make sure that everyone, COVID-19, asthmatics, anyone alike, will have access to this life-saving medication.
As an asthmatic myself, I know how important it is to have your rescue inhaler with you when you need it. Having a smaller, more portable inhaler wherever I need it would be critical. And 44% of our 328 asthmatics surveyed agree that they would purchase this product. In addition, we talked to providers at the University of Utah, including Dr. Wayne Samuelson, who's the head critical care pulmonologist and asthma researcher at the U, and said this is a big need. In addition, we talked to several pediatricians who all agreed that they would prescribe this to every single one of their patients.
Looking at the competitive landscape, on the right, you can actually see the size comparison. We're focused on a smaller, more portable, more accessible inhaler. On the left, you can see all of the competitors. There's around 9 different manufacturers of albuterol rescue inhalers in the market today, none of which have a majority hold. This means there's room for a new entrant. There's roughly 70 million inhalers sold in the United States. And up until recently, it's all been the Proventil brand name albuterol. That's at $87 out of pocket to the consumers. And the generic is going to lower that to $17 for out of pocket costs. We're hoping that our inhaler in its smaller size will actually be $0 or just a few dollars for our patients. What we're hoping to do today is fund 2 milestones, the Freedom to Operate search, as well as engineer a prototype and 3D print that prototype for design feasibility.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, VitaPool. If you have questions for VitaPool, make sure you text our text line, 812-542-5299, and make sure you put the number, the team number, number 1 at the beginning of your question for VitaPool. So again, the number is 812-542-5299. Text your questions for VitaPool to that number and put number 1 in front of your question. Our next presenter is Zomi.
Hi. Okay. There we go. Oh. All right. Hi, I'm Danielle Bullock, founder of Zomi Family Fitness. So when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? I think most kids will answer that they want to be just like their parents. And why? Because kids are born to imitate. Did you know that in the last 40 years, child obesity has quadrupled? And that's because of inactivity in the home and poor examples from their parents. So as a product designer and a fitness enthusiast, I sought out to find solutions to providing solutions to families who want to involve each other in their workouts, but might not know how. Zomi provides kid-friendly, specially designed workout equipment, and we pair this with instruction to enable families to exercise together. We're currently working on a unique curriculum that teaches families how to exercise together using our equipment in fun, interactive ways. Who is this product for? We're going to start off with parents who already work out from home, which from several of our surveys, we've found out that 67% of these people are already working out with their kids. We've run about 200 targeted surveys and found that 61% of these people said that they were interested in our classes, and 52% of them signed up with an email saying they wanted to receive more information about our classes. When I posted images of our prototypes, I've also had dozens of people reaching out wanting to buy my prototypes. The virtual fitness market was valued at $6 billion in 2019, and it's projected to reach $59 billion by 2027. We've seen that with quarantines and things shifting to online, the virtual fitness market is higher than ever. So why Zomi? We provide unique online fitness instruction that focuses on instructing parents and kids with special equipment. So most fitness products that already exist are cheap products from China that are only meant to be toys. The difference with our products is they function as actual low resistance workout equipment for children that is properly functioning. It just provides extra foam to protect your kid and your home. Our next milestone, we hope to be released on Kickstarter by next summer. And so in order to reach that, we want to get some high quality product prototypes to use for user testing, our promotional content for Kickstarter, like videography, photography, and to begin filming our unique curriculum classes. We're asking for the full amount of $1,500 because for round one, we spent $460 on prototyping development. So now we're asking for $1,500, which will provide our high quality prototypes. Thank you.
Thank you, Zomi. If you have questions for Zomi, please text them to 812-542-5299. Put number 2 in front of your question for Zomi, and you can continue to text that text line throughout the night to send questions for our teams. Our next team is Helixer Health.
Okay. This is Nikki. She's having trouble adjusting to the new norm. Nikki is one of 60% of Americans now working from home and one of millions of students taking online classes. She's stressed, anxious, and is having trouble focusing. She's recently purchased an Aura smart diffuser, and after downloading the free app and answering a few questions, she places it on her desk and presses the single button on the device. Aura instantly diffuses a combination of pure natural ingredients specifically designed to help her focus. The entire experience, using light, sound, and aroma, are personally tailored to her preferences using different holistic wellness techniques. Nikki didn't have to know anything about dilution methods, how much water to use, or what ingredients she needed. Aura automated the entire process. Hi, my name is Cole, and my company is Helixer Health. We've built a one-of-a-kind, data-driven smart diffuser to make at-home wellness cheaper, faster, more convenient, and personalized. We've worked for over a year in developing smart valves that have one-drop precision and the ability to handle concentrated ingredients like essential oils. Our smart valves are programmed to adjust to the thickness of a particular oil in order to get the precision that's needed. We currently have a pending patent on this technology. Now here's how the Aura works. First, connect to the device to the app. Then insert the ingredients. The app will automatically sense what oil was inserted and give stats like first and last use dates. Fourth, pick a blend, and then finally run the Aura to diffuse your mixture. We've conducted 2 intensive focus groups with over a dozen individuals that fit our demographic. We've also conducted over 20 online surveys. We definitely need more feedback, and once our prototype is complete in the next few weeks, we will do actual interviews of users. Through our surveys, we found out that we were targeting the wrong demographic. We've shifted from targeting married women with kids that are interested in holistic products and essential oils to a younger millennial demographic interested in apps and new technology. Nikki is one of our personas. Some notable features exclusive to the Aura are its ability to create and save custom blends on the app, its multi-use smart valves, and a feature called InstaBlend that will automatically mix a specified blend based on the time of day. We currently have a 3D printed prototype with working core mechanics such as diffusion, valve mechanics, and app development. So we are close to the manufacturing process, but we need to hire an embedded systems engineer to help us develop the smart functionalities of the app. We are seeking $1,500 so we can develop the code for the valves, Wi-Fi connection functionality, and for smart home integration. I'm asking you to help us make our vision of wellness a reality. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Helixer Health. If you have questions for Helixer Health, please text them to 812-542-5299. Put a number 3 before your question and send your questions our way. Then we will have a Q&A session at the end after every team has presented. So our next team is AdGo Cars.
Hi, my name is Mason Charlesworth, and my startup is AdGo Cars. We're constantly in our vehicles, whether it's dropping kids off at school, going to pick up food, running a couple of errands, we're in them a lot. Imagine if every time you step foot in your vehicle, you could get paid to drive it. AdGo Cars makes that possible. We allow everyday drivers to advertise for local and national businesses using vehicle vinyl wraps on the exterior of their car. It also is great for the businesses because with their current advertising options, it's difficult to hold focus of the consumers with us skipping or swiping away ads, and you can't skip or swipe away a car wrapped in one of our ads. To give you an idea of how cost beneficial it is, it costs over $20 per 1,000 people who advertise on television, and it only costs 15 cents per 1,000 with our vehicle ads. We're working on further customer validation for the business side of things, but have talked to multiple businesses who have shown interest. And we're targeting small to medium-sized businesses who will give us revenue to develop an app to be able to capture a larger portion of the market later on. As far as drivers go, we're targeting lower middle-class drivers, ages 18 to 32. And we surveyed over 1,000 of them, and 74% stated that they would be willing to change the exterior appearance of their vehicle for a couple $100s a month. We have a few competitors right now, all of which are back east. Rapify and Carvertise are the most similar to what we're doing, but they struggle in a couple of key areas. First being customer service. There's pages and pages of poor reviews stating that drivers aren't being paid, that businesses have no communication, and this has kind of bled over into their app as well, which has had terrible reviews on the design, the interface between their customers, both drivers and businesses. So we hope to capitalize on these mistakes and offer our customers great customer service, and as we develop the app, avoid some of the key mistakes that they have made. Uber and Lyft have also entered this market. They acquired a couple of what we call rooftop advertising companies. So it's basically a digital board or a TV that's the shape of a triangle on the top of a vehicle that magnetizes or clips into the racks. There's a couple of issues with this. First being, it only offers a 180-degree view of the ad, whereas our vehicle wraps offer a full 360-degree view. And it's also very easy to remove them. So you could put it in the trunk of your car and the businesses are essentially paying for nothing. It's near impossible to remove the wraps on our vehicles. We offer very competitive rates compared to all these other businesses based on the amount of time you're driving in your vehicle. We would be using the funds from this round of Get Seated to file a trademark. As a company who helps other companies with brand recognition, we recognize how important that is for us, and we want to protect ourselves legally. We used funds from a micro grant from Get Seated, $500 back in August, to incorporate with both the state and federally. So we are asking for the full $1,500 to cover the trademark filing fees with LegalZoom. They do a comprehensive search as well as the federal filing, and we'll also need to pay for some in-house consulting with their attorneys, giving us the full $1,500. Thank you.
Thank you, AdGo Cars. So if you have questions for AdGo Cars, please text 812-542-5299 and put a 4 in front of your question for AdGo Cars. Our last team is BOLA.
Hi, I'm Francis Gafwan, founder of BOLA. I'm going to be presenting with my partner, Emma Shikinen.
Thank you, Francis. Our business idea and passion lies in creating a fintech mobile application. This is aimed to establish financial inclusion to the people in Liberia by providing financial freedom with a better customer experience. The emphasis is to provide accessibility to financial literacy, credit, and also savings account. Under our customer validation, in Liberia, there are more than 5 million people and unprecedented growth of mobile users, a total of 2.6 million mobile phone subscribers, and the most internet users are the Generation Z and Millennials, whom we shall target. To begin understanding their needs, we conducted 2 forms of research: 10 informal interviews with local librarians and online research, but both also confirming the need to create more digital banking as physical branches are not being pleasant.
For competitive analysis, we got the banks and as our greatest competitor because they offer like traditional banking services. And there's telecommunication companies like Orange and MTN that provide peer-to-peer transfer to the client, and also a fintech called Tidme that serves as a peer-to-peer transfer and has a digital wallet. What differentiates us from these competitors is we look to offer a quick micro loan to our app and our digital banking. And we're also trying to create a credit card service that is based on your employment status, your payment history, and your salary and wages, which is going to help provide the needed credit people need for daily expense. For this milestone, we are looking for funds to conduct a market research by a third-party survey company in Liberia. This is an independent company that is not with Bola team. And we also look to conduct Google online survey targeted user in Liberia. We are seeking $720 for the third-party contractor and to conduct 58 Google surveys at $10 per response with a total of 1,300. This is an analog population, and we look to provide financial inclusion and credit to the most needed people of this part of the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bola. If you have questions for Bola, please text 812-542-5299. Put a 5 at the beginning of your question if it's a question for Bola. Now, we are going to have a Q&A session right now, and I will give me just one moment. So while I pull up these questions that have been coming in, teams, if you will be ready to answer questions, we are going to start with VitaPool. Okay. Sorry, VitaPool, are you, I can't see you, so I'm not sure if are you unmuted? You're unmuted? Okay, you're here, good. Sorry about that. Okay, I have 2 questions for you. How do you plan on keeping these from easily being swallowed?
Brian?
That's an excellent question. So certainly that would be the challenge or a risk that we have. However, we have done the research in creating this device, and the number of children under 5 with asthma makes up the minority of the population that we're wanting to treat. So the good news is that our target audience isn't typically the type that would swallow it. And then in terms of generally speaking, we would say that it would have the same swallow risk as pretty much anything else in your house, pen caps or anything like that. But in terms of the user and whose hands it's going to be in, a minimal risk, if you will.
Okay, thank you. So this one's a 2-part question. Would this product have a longer shelf life than the current standard, and would it offer more doses?
So no, it would. It's going to end up using the same generic drug that's in the current epinephrine rescue rescue inhalers, and so it'll have the same shelf life. It does, it comes in that smaller container, so it's inherently going to have less puffs. So right now, the standard rescue inhaler has about 200 puffs, and ours would be proposed to have anywhere between 10 and 20 puffs. And so the idea is that it'll be sold either singularly, so you'll use it up before that expiration date, or for users that are using it rather frequently, they can buy a pack of 5 or 10, which will be roughly half or equivalent to the existing inhaler. And that'll allow them to put them in their purse, in their backpack, in their car, and have them a little bit more accessible to them throughout their lives so that when they need it, they have it.
Okay, thank you so much. Our next team for questions is Zomi. Okay. Okay, first question, is the product smaller versions of traditional workout gear, or are they specifically tailored to children?
Yeah, so a little bit of both. They're tailored to children in terms of size and in terms of being padded with a special foam that makes it so that if a kid were to drop a weight on their foot, it's not really going to hurt that bad. It's not going to damage your floor. So we are sizing them specifically for children, but also considering things like materials, colors, etc. for children.
Okay. Have you looked into prototyping the yoga mats yourself rather than purchasing an adult size and cutting it down?
So that would just be for, if I were to just purchase an adult size and cut it down, it would be for like photo purchases. I mean, photography reasons. But I actually am talking with a couple companies, a couple of manufacturers, and seeing if they would be able to just cut it down for me. But I would rather just make my own prototypes cheaply rather than have a manufacturer charge me hundreds of dollars to do something that I can do myself. So.
Okay. Thank you so much, Zomi. Okay, our next team is Helixer Health. Our first question is, how did you choose your pricing?
So our pricing is based off of, we are trying to manufacture and sell the actual product as cheap as possible. And our business model is based off of like in-app purchases, reoccurring purchases of the ingredients. So it'll notify you when lavender's low and ask you if you would like to order it and just have that shipped to your house. So we're trying to keep the actual model as cheap as possible.
Okay. Is your pitch for the specific product, oils, diffuser, etc., or for the app?
So the app is free. So you could, I guess you could download the app even without a device, but you'd be purchasing the device and you can get the oils from the app. So it's kind of they work together.
Okay. Thank you so much. Next team, AdGo Cars. We have 2 questions for you. Okay, how do you manage driver etiquette? It seems that a potential problem would be making sure that drivers drive politely and represent the advertiser appropriately.
Definitely. We have looked into this, and it's actually legal for us to access driving records. So we'll be able to look into the driving records, which will require to be clean in order to drive for us, to avoid any misrepresentation of a brand. And we'll also have different tiers that allow the business to choose if they would like a vehicle to be newer and pay a little extra and things of that nature.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Have you talked to a law student to better understand the trademark path?
So I haven't talked to a law student. I've actually been on the phone with multiple law firms here in the Valley, and I've probably spent close to 15 hours on the phone with them learning about the trademark process. And unfortunately, I decided to not go with any of them because it was a cheaper route to use LegalZoom for essentially the same service. So I feel pretty well versed in the trademark arena now.
Okay, thank you so much. Our last team, Bola, we have 2 questions for you. So why will the Google ads cost $10 each?
So the Google Ad is a targeted user, is for the user in Liberia. So basically, if you're using like YouTube and you are in Liberia, it's gonna like pop up like a survey or a poll. So because it's targeted to that market, that's why it's more expensive. I mean, on average, it's like $3, like if it's like a general population.
Okay, thank you. How do you plan on getting proof that the surveys will be / have been done?
So we have team members in Liberia also that's like going to supervise the process, and planning on we might have to go there to join the process in order to be there firsthand to go after the process to make sure that we got the right data from the survey.
Okay, thank you so much. So that ends our question and answer session for our teams. Thank you for answering those questions, teams. And now we are at the point of the night where we are going to vote on our teams. So here is the link, the bit.ly link for voting. You'll have 10 minutes to vote. So please type this into your browser. Anyone can vote, so get out there and vote for our teams. We want to make sure that they get the support that they deserve. They've worked really hard on these presentations and have been coached by our team. They've done really, really well, and we are very proud of them. And we would really appreciate your vote. After a few minutes, we are also going to have a question and answer for Doxy.me, our sponsor. So we'll give them a few minutes so they can vote, and then we will go into our question and answer while we're waiting for the rest of the votes to come in.
Okay, Skylar, you can give me the thumbs up when you've had a chance to do your vote. If you want to, you can also choose not to, but we'd love your vote. But just give me the thumbs up when you're ready and we'll start chatting. All right, okay. Great. So I'd love to start, if you wouldn't mind. Let's make sure you were able to unmute. Were you able to unmute or?
Okay, coming in.
Wonderful. I hear you loud and clear. Perfect. So I thought it'd be wonderful if we could start with just a little introduction of yourself and background of your company, and maybe a little bit about your journey to where you sit today.
Yeah, absolutely. So this stuff's awesome. It's awesome listening in and hearing all of the cool ideas and companies that you guys have got going on. We at Doxy.me just did this like a few years ago. So we've done like the Get Seated. We did the Utah Entrepreneurship Challenge back in 2014. And it was instrumental in what we did, and kind of it helped validate what we were doing, that people saw that it could work. And it also helped out a lot just getting that cash that early on, when it's just so essential and so important. And so that's one of the reasons why we wanted to get back, is because we were able to, get where we are based off of all the little Get Seated and all these other events that the U puts on. So we love getting involved. So we'll see how much this guy lets me get through. He'll be spouting out advice during this. So yeah, so Doxy.me, we got our start in 2013 at the University of Utah. And so we were doing a prenatal care study up there, and we wanted to do it remotely, to check in with the moms during the pregnancy and the follow-ups and stuff like that. And so we were looking just for a simple free. We didn't have too much money. It just a really simple and free telemedicine platform that we could use. And when we were looking around, they were all like really expensive, like Cisco, Polycom. These are huge, like hospital system wide platforms that require hardware and like servers to get installed. Just way too complex for what we were looking for. So then we went and we checked out, well, okay, let's look at Skype or FaceTime. Let's use one of those. They meet the easy criteria, but they're not HIPAA compliant. So they don't encrypt the calls. They're not secure. And they also don't come with a business associates agreement, which is required by HIPAA anytime you're dealing with patient health information. So we saw a need in the market. And so instead of purchasing one of the really expensive ones, we just said, hey, let's prototype one up and let's create our own for this project. So for the study. And so we created just a really simple one, just really basic, and used it for the study, and started off with our customer validation rate then. Really positive results and feedback that we got from all the moms. They really loved, a lot of the prenatal care checkups, you're not getting blood pressure. A lot of it's just checkup and questions and talking to the doctor and asking them questions. And so that's what a lot of the visits were. And so they could just do it from home instead of having to drive in and, find a babysitter and all of that. So we did that. We got our startup there. We just kind of launched it live. We put it out there, a really basic version. We started off for free. And then we follow a freemium model. So there's a free version, and then you can upgrade for additional features. And so we put it out there, and slowly it just started to gain traction from a lot of the early adopters. So what we saw was a lot of behavioral health. They were kind of the early adopters with the technology, just because it was really simple for them to incorporate it in their practices and with their patients. And so 2016 up until, just last year, we were on pace to double every year. So we had around, I think, 60,000 providers, in 2019. And just from the trends we were seeing, we're like, okay, we're on track to double. And then, as we all know, COVID kind of came in, and it just went really crazy. So to kind of put it into perspective, pre-COVID, we had around 100 signups a day, and that was sort of the average. And then in the middle of March, on like a Saturday, we had 200 signups, and we're like, oh, that's the highest that's ever been. That's weird. And then Sunday it was 300 signups, and then we're like, okay, something is going on. And then Monday we had 1,000 signups, and it just kept accelerating until we had a peak of 30,000 people signed up in a single day to use the platform. And so, we weren't the only telemedicine company out there. We have a lot of competitors and stuff like that. What really helped accelerate it was just, one of our core values is just creating a really simple and easy to use product. And so providers, you're able to go to the website, sign up for an account, and have a call in under 2 minutes. It's really simple to get in and do that all. And then because it was so simple, and because we had a free version, that's what a lot of people just kind of gravitated towards. And so we got pretty good favorable results in Google and online searches. And then just that word of mouth and organic traffic we got was huge. And so we surveyed people who signed up, and 75% of our incoming signups were from word of mouth and just organic Google searches. So, people were coming, they're trying out, they're like, wow, this is easy. Wow, I don't have to pay anything. I'm going to tell all of my colleagues about it. And then also in the, not just individual providers and stuff, we were starting to get a lot more, large hospitals and enterprise systems started coming our way, because they were actually looking at our competitors, and our competitors were telling them, hey, it's going to be 2 to 3 weeks to get you set up. We're too backed up. And so they came to us and we're like, yeah, we could just set up in 24 hours. We created it to be really easy and really quick to sign up. And so we got a lot of, it was never our target market, these big hospitals and enterprises, but they just kind of came in because they could get something up and running so quick. And so, are you getting sleepy? So that's kind of where we're at today. And so back pre-COVID, we had, I think, 10 employees. We're in the master's program at the U. It was an awesome program. Definitely recommend it. So we had around 10 employees. We now have over 120. So we've had to hire a few people over the last few months. Pre-COVID, we were doing around 200,000 patient sessions a month. Now we're doing over 500,000 patient sessions a day. So over 10 million patient interaction, patient calls a month. So, I mean, if you compare that to like a large hospital system, they might do 9, 10,000, 15,000 visits or so in a given month. It just kind of puts it in perspective where it's huge. So yeah, that's kind of just a quick story of where we got started at the U and where we're at currently. So,
well, it's a great story, and thank you for being here with us. I have some questions from the team. So the teams have submitted a few questions. I will prioritize those questions, and then while the student leadership group is calculating the tallies and the votes. So
awesome.
First question is, did you ever feel like giving up, and how did you overcome that feeling?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we definitely had a few times where that happened. And one thing I learned in the master's program, if you ever are expecting things to get easier, they're not. They're going to get harder, and the problems only get bigger as you go. So don't expect anything to get easy. Your problems are just going to get more complex and harder as you go. And that's just part of being an entrepreneur, and just dealing with it and getting through it. And so early on, we had an experience where we had some angel investors come in. Apparently we didn't do enough background research on them, but it got to a point where they tried to kick all the founders out of the company. And so there was a back and forth. There's a 2-year legal battle trying to, decide who is going to have the company. Eventually it led to a point where they accepted a buyout and, sold their ownership in the company. But that's a great learning experience, to just be really careful who your founders and who you bring on into the company and who you give ownership to. I mean, they were doing things that were hurting the company, and it just didn't really matter because they owned it. And so it just puts it in a really hard spot. And the law is there to protect both parties, both whoever is an owner. It doesn't favor the good guys or the bad guys. It's just there to protect everyone equally. And so, yeah, just be careful, really be careful who you bring on into your team and who you open the ownership to. Things usually go sour when you start making a lot of money or you aren't making money. So it's at both those areas. That's where the problems and the real personality and your the other owners, that's when the problems usually come up.
So I think that one, you could say fills this other question, but for the student that sent it, I want to read it. And it is, what is one of the biggest lessons you had to learn the hard way? And I know that that's one of them for sure. I think that fills that question, unless you have another lesson that you had to learn the hard way that you want to share.
Yeah, that was definitely a hard lesson that we had to learn. Let's see, not another lesson that we have learned, you got to say no a lot. I mean, along the way, we've had so many customers say, hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do that. Hey, you need to do this. And we just have to tell them no. And it's hard to do, and it sucks because you might have this huge deal and they want you to do this one thing. But if you do that one thing for them, it kind of changes it, where at least for us as a platform and code and stuff, if you do one-off changes for every customer, it makes it a lot harder to do updates and run your platform going forward. And I've seen this when you scale, it makes it really hard. So you want to keep everything as standardized as you can, so it'll allow you to scale quickly. And so we've just had to tell a lot of customers, just, I'm sorry, no. And, you have to stay core to what you know. And for us, it's simplicity. Like, we're not going to give up a simple patient experience for anything. So we just have to tell people no. So you have to stick to those core values that you have about your product and what you know. You're in there in the trenches, better than anybody else. So don't let them try to convince you otherwise. Just stick to, your core values.
I think that's great. And then I have a last question here from students. And that is another great question. Doxy Meme, how did you manage your cash flow with that insane amount of growth?
So just kind of going back to that, keep everything, automate everything you can and standardize it. So with our platform, we use Stripe to accept credit card payments. And so it's 100% automated cycle where groups and providers will come to our platform, they'll pay with a credit card, and then it's all managed automatically through the platform. So we, believe it or not, during COVID, we had to turn down people because they wanted to pay by checks and do all these other forms of payments. We just had to say, sorry, we can't do that. You can pay with a credit card. That's the only option. And it's as an entrepreneur and as a scrappy startup, as we were, coming from 10 employees and I think saying mama, coming from where we were, that was so hard to do. But it goes back to especially when you're growing like that, everything has to be automated. You got to be careful with these one-off arrangements that you do with clients. And so we were able to scale so quickly because the platform could scale up easily. There wasn't a huge setup time for customers. And then also all payment processing was handled automatically through Stripe. And we just had to turn people down otherwise. And a lot of people were really understanding. They understood we were in a pandemic. And so they were able to, go back to their finance department and talk to them and work something out. So a lot of the times you can try to push things, on their side and see what they can do and see what they can come up with.
That's great. And then will you tell us a little bit about, so what is your title? What's your role in the company now?
Yeah, so I started off just kind of doing sales, just on all the sales calls, selling to clients. I guess I was sort of sales and marketing, even though we never really did marketing. We didn't have a marketing budget. That's one of the beauties of a freemium business model, is it kind of perpetuates itself because people will tell other people. So we didn't have to spend that much on marketing. Now I am the VP of sales for the company. So a lot more focus on strategy and direction, and just working with managers to help teach them and help them run their, sales teams.
And what do you, so a lot of these students are undergraduate students, some master's level students and some medical students. What do you know now that you wish you knew then as a student entrepreneur? Maybe leave them with a few bits of advice.
Yeah, at least for me personally, I guess, and this probably isn't for everybody, but at least for me personally is, I guess I was underconfident in my entrepreneurship abilities. The master's program really helped me, grow and gain a lot of that experience. But we brought on a lot of consultants to come in and, smart people. You pay them a lot of money and they tell you what to do. And I will tell you, these people who have 20, 30 years experience, I could have done a better job than all of them. I knew more than all of them. And so don't undersell yourself. You're in there, your product. Very rarely is somebody going to come in and in 2 months know anything close to what you know about the company. So yeah, I guess we had a few good consultants here there, but going forward, we're not doing that again. So that's just kind of a lesson we learned. So you guys are all smart. You're an entrepreneur. You're creating your company. you have that drive, you believe in it, and just believe in yourself, believe in the decisions you make, and nobody is going to know better than you. So.
And then what's next for Doxy.me? What is the big challenge ahead that you're facing now?
Yeah, so with Doxy.me, we wanted to, the idea was like, we want to take telemedicine and just make it medicine. It's just going to be a part of how medicine is. And we had a big opportunity to help with that and accelerate that. And a lot of places have adopted telemedicine. So where we see going forward, video, it's not that hard. It's going to become commonplace. Anybody can do it. Anyone can set it up. So that's not going to be, sustainable going forward in the future. So where we're headed is Doxy.me is going to be one product of many products. And so Doxy.me is going to be a video solution, and we're building other products. Like we already have a healthcare chatbot that can integrate with Doxy.me, collect patient information. We have a reminders product that can, you can schedule patients, you can send them text, email reminders. So the idea is we're going to work towards a marketplace model where we are going to start developing more products that can be plugged in and integrated with Doxy.me. And then if other people want to create products and plugins for the marketplace, they'll be able to as well. And so we've captured a huge, market. We have over 700,000 users on the platform. We have over 300,000 active users that use us monthly. And so it's a huge net that we have got. And so any product that we introduce, it's going to be able to be seen by hundreds and thousands of providers and healthcare workers. And so that's kind of where we're headed is towards a marketplace with additional products. And Doxy.me is just going to be one of the products of many. It's not going to be the top core product. It's just going to be one of many that you could use.
And so you had a chance to listen to the pitches. Do you have any feedback directly to the student teams or anything of that nature?
Yeah, that was awesome. So yeah, I thought the asthma one was really cool to have like those smaller inhalers. I know like my cousin, he grew up with an inhaler, and I swear most of the time when he used it, it was like expired because he had the same inhaler for like his whole childhood, this like purple one. And I bet at some point it was expired. But so it's awesome that if they're smaller, you use it before it gets expired. So I thought that was really cool. With Zomi and the Family Fitness. So I was in the master's program with True Adherence. They've got like a wall. It's like a screen where you do exercises, and it kind of helps you like with your form and stuff. There might be a connection there with like, the workouts and stuff and incorporating something with them. So I thought that was interesting. Awesome seeing Helix for Health again. So I was in the program with David. So it's cool seeing sort of the progress there. So that's awesome. AdGo Cars, $200 a month. Let me know. I would love to do that. Who would I want an extra $200 a month? So wrap my car. It's an old 2008 RAV4. So I would be down for that. And so, yeah. And then the BOA, I think that's awesome. Just, helping out more people get access to that. I think that's really cool. So, I think all the companies we got, I think this guy's had about enough, but it's really awesome being involved and seeing all these cool ideas coming out.
I think so. Well, I wanted to say we had almost 100 join us today on the live stream, which was really fun. And so I wanted to say thank you so much for sharing your story, and thank you, little one, for sharing your voice. And with that, we're just going to be waiting a little bit for the tallies to come through. Students, if you have any questions at all for me, I'll welcome you to unmute. It might take me a moment to figure out how to do that for you. But I did want to share a little bit more with you students and you audience members about what might be next for the Get Seated folks that are pitching here. We have Opportunity Quest coming up at the University of Utah, and know that your student colleagues around the state will be also competing at their universities. The top winner of Opportunity Quest will proceed on to the Utah Entrepreneur Challenge taking place in the last Saturday of March. Both of these will be virtual, so a little bit more of what you're seeing here. So you will not be asked to come to a live in-person event this year for those. And truly, it's the next step to get even more expert feedback on your idea, hone your pitch, hone your business model, and move forward. So we hope to see you all apply to Opportunity Quest, as well as apply to the Utah Entrepreneur Challenge. Does anybody here, I'll click through and raise your hand to see if you have, or you can chat your questions actually to us if you have any questions at all about those programs, about this program, or Lassonde Entrepreneur Institute in general. Another opportunity coming up for some of you that might be interested is to apply for the Company Launch Program. So this program is where we would put student entrepreneurs like you together in a cohort. This year we have a virtual cohort. We also have office space dedicated at Lassonde Studios. And so if you're interested in collaborating more with other student entrepreneurs on the University of Utah campus or virtually, but be in a cohort together, you also get peer coaching, you get milestone meetings and founders board meetings with kind of special expert education opportunities there. So that's another opportunity if you haven't considered it yet. And then I also know that some of you might be double doing today because the Bench to Bedside program is also operating and up and going. So oh, great. Thank you, Francis, for your question. It is, do you have to be incorporated with the state of Utah in order to be eligible to participate in Opportunity Quest? And the answer is no. So that is an executive summary competition. So you're really coming in with your business idea, and you do not need to be a legal entity in order to do that. Now, in order to, whether or not you're incorporated or not will affect how any prizes that you are to win will be paid, but that is another issue. And so you absolutely can get so much feedback, win prizes, and move your idea forward, but you do not need to be a registered entity.
Okay, Anne, we are back. Hope everything went okay. Let's get this. I hope my screen is still sharing. So So just before we get to our results, we would like to let you know about the next round of applications. And let's see. So applications start tomorrow for our next round. We are not doing a Get Seated round next month. We are going to start up again in the spring semester. So applications are going to be due by February 1st at 11:59 p.m. So that does give you a lot of time, but please remember to submit your applications because we would really love to have a great turnout to our February event. With school starting so late in January, it is going to be pushed back to February. So visit our website for more information, lassonde.utah.edu/getseated, and it will give you some more information, and that is where you can submit your application. We also wanted to thank again Chad and Kristen Anselmo and DoxyMe for their generous donations to the Get Seated program. Without them, we would not be able to fund our wonderful teams. And lastly, we would like to get to our results. So in no particular order, we were able to fund 3 teams this time. So first team is Zomi. Next team is Helixer Health. And our last team is VitaPool. So again, Zomi, Helixer Health, and VitaPool. So thank you so much for pitching tonight, teams. It was a wonderful night, a wonderful Get Seated event. Please, teams, if you'll stay on the call so we can give you a little bit more instruction, then we will let you go. But thank you everyone who came out to our Get Seated event, especially in these times of COVID. I know it's not the same events that we've had in the past, but we are so grateful that we are able to continue virtually and to get things going. And please apply again for the Get Seated program, and we would love to see you back in February. Thank you so much.